Hi, this is Linda from North Central Texas. I'm going to fix some another way to cook a brisket. This is a small brisket. It was like $7. It weighs about 1.5 pounds. And like I said, it's just me, so I don't want to go to all the trouble of smoking a brisket. So I'm just going to fix a dish that is easier to fix with a brisket, or you can do flank steak. Any type of a beef that you can slice up, you can use in this recipe. And like I said, in this one, I'm going to use this small brisket that I caught on sale. It was like $4.29 a pound. So I got about 1.5 pounds of it. But we got to prepare it first because it's got to be sliced. I don't like all that fat on it. Oh, and first I'm going to put me on a cup of rice to be cooking. Get over here and show you this. I'm going to serve it over rice. So I'm just going to put on a cup of rice real quick. And that'll be cooking, while I start preparing the other stuff. And I need to get a little tie to go on that. And as you know, you add 2 cups of water to your rice for cooking. I'm going to put it back here on this back burner. I'm going to turn it on. And when it starts to boil, I'll turn it down and put my lid on it. But now let's get over here and show you what I'm going to do to this poor brisket. Yeah, I can't see cooking this brisket for hours and hours and hours, even in the oven. I mean, if I was going to fix a large quantity of it, maybe, but I'm not, so I'm going to do it an easier way. And nobody said that if you get a brisket, you've got to smoke it. Hey, you can fix it however you want. And this is supposed to be my Easter brisket, but I'm going to go ahead and fix it today. Because like I said, it's not a very big one. I'm going to get a lot of this fat off because I don't want the fat on there. And I know that's a good part of it, whenever you grill it or smoke it, because a lot of that fat gives it a good flavor. But I don't need all that fat on this, so there's only going to be a very little left on it. And most of that's going to cook off that's left. I'm not a fan of a lot of fat on my meat anyway, so. Oh, my head itches. Or tickles. Felt like something crawling on me. And I know it's probably nothing but my hair. Oh, it's bugging me. But a small brisket like this, you know, is basically big enough for one person, or maybe two if you're going to make one meal out of it. But the way I'm going to cook it, it makes it go even further. I remember doing this in the kitchen where I worked one time. But I had tons and tons of great big pieces of meat that I had to get the fat off of so they could cook it. I think I hear my rice boiling. There, turned it down on low. And I guess I pretty well got all of that cut off of there. Now I'm just gonna slice this up in little short strips, about like that. It should be good when it's cooked. The way I'm going to cook it anyway. It's almost going to be like a Mongolian beef. I don't know if any of you have ever eaten Mongolian beef before. The way it's fixed. I was going to do this for Easter, but I think I'm going to my son's house. I'm not sure yet. For Easter. I went out there to get some of my green onion tops, and I noticed that my walking onions have started walking. I'll have to take you out there in a little bit if I don't forget and show you what they look like when they started. And then I can show you later when they finish walking and they produce the little onion pods at the top. But it's the funniest thing. I never knew onions would do that. But they're Egyptian walking onions. And they come up every year as long as you don't pull the root up. The Egyptian walking onions, you do just harvest the green tops, but you don't want to harvest all of them, because this time of year they start walking and they'll produce more little onion clusters for you to break apart to actually plant new onions. And then after they do that, you can harvest all the green onions you want. And I like green onions. I put them in a lot of my dishes that I make. So I like the idea of having the green onions around, even if I don't harvest the roots of them. This is almost like a stir-fry dish, but I'm not putting all the vegetables in it. Turn that up just a tiny bit. Now, I need a bowl for that meat, because I'm going to take about a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. Put my meat in there, and I'm going to sprinkle my cornstarch on it. But just mix it up good with cornstarch. Try to get it all coated in there. And believe it or not, cornstarch will help tenderize your meat. Just coat it good. Should look kind of like that. Just coat it good with it. And let it sit there for about 10 minutes while you get over here and fix your sauce. Gotta wash my hand off first. Get all that cornstarch and stuff off my fingers. I hurt that wrist and I sprained it or strained it too much yesterday after hurting it. And it is really bothering me today. Now, to make my sauce, and we do this first while you're getting everything else done. I've got all my ingredients measured out over here. Not sure how to get the best view here. That light, I don't like the way the light shines over there, but I guess there's not a whole lot I can do about it. But anyway, let's see. We're going to get all of our ingredients. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil in my pan and get it hot. About 2 tablespoons of oil. Oops. Turning the wrong burner. I don't want to get it too hot. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon. This is a teaspoon, by the way. So I'm putting in a good rounded tablespoon of, or 2 teaspoonfuls of garlic. And like I said, any of my dishes is totally optional whether you use garlic or not. Most of my dishes does call for garlic because I love garlic. I'm going to put in about a tablespoon of ginger or more. It's been so humid here lately, all mine is in a little ball. But it just breaks apart. I had fresh ginger, but I left it in my refrigerator for too long. So, putting in a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of Worcestershire sauce, 1/4 cup of water, I didn't let that pan get hot enough. Smells good. You have to bring it to like the boiling point, and that liquid will thicken up a little bit. And if you like the sweetness of the brown sugar, you can add more or less. Just depends on how sweet you like it. This week is your planting week. If you got plants in your greenhouses or that you've started in your mini totes, your mini greenhouses, if the plants are big enough, you can go ahead and put them out in your totes and your pots and buckets, or you can plant them in ground if you're planting in ground. Because this weekend is actually the planting time. I jumped the gun. I've already got a lot of mine out. A lot of my plants are not big enough, but the ones that got big enough, I started transplanting them out. I think this is just a quick, easy way to make your, to do a brisket if you have a small one. I mean, if I was going to go to the trouble to smoke a brisket, I'd probably get a great old big $40 brisket, not a $7 small one. I'd at least want anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds of brisket if I was going to go to the trouble to smoke it, because it takes quite a while to smoke a brisket. But they're so good. My son does them sometimes, and oh my God, they're wonderful. But he does freeze a lot of it. He takes brisket to work with him for his lunch, plus eats it at home, so none of it goes to waste. So we're boiling this a little bit. It's coming to a rolling boil. It thickens up just a tiny bit. And then I'm going to add my onions. And those onions came from the garden. And you might say, well, green onions are cheap. You get them for $1 a roll, a bundle. But hey, every dollar counts. It adds up. So every dollar I don't have to spend at the store for onions, I can spend on something else. I'm going to cook that just a little bit. Give those onions a chance to cook down a little bit. Y'all planned a big Easter? I haven't planned anything. I just figured I might spend some time with my son and my daughter-in-law and her grandkids, because her daughter is with a guy that's got 2 little boys, I think 5 and 7 or 6 and 7. I know they're real small. They're not very big. So we'll see. just want those onions to cook down just a little bit. Ooh, that the vapors I breathe from that's making me cough. Those onions and that Worcestershire sauce is pretty strong. I'm going to move that off the heat. Put my frying pan up here. Turn my rice off because I think that's about boiled enough. I'm going to put me some oil in the pan, get it hot. Oh, excuse me, I can't help it. I love that, but it's so strong when you breathe it, especially if you got allergies, it will make you cough. See how it's not quite hot yet. But I'll leave that one in there anyway for right this minute. It was so windy outside today. I still haven't been able to get out there and sweep my walk off. I washed the car the other day, and I should have just left it because it's completely covered in dust all over again. I could have saved the money that I spent on the car wash. I'm just going to put in my strips of beef now and brown them. And like I said, you can use any lean meat like this that you can slice up in slices. Flank steak. I've even used sirloin steak. I didn't want to grill it out and I wanted something different with it, so I turned it into this dish, or one similar. And you notice I'm not putting salt or anything on this meat except for the cornstarch, because there's already enough salt in that soy sauce that I'm not adding salt. Oh, I turned my wrist and it hurts. So I really didn't want to do anything in the yard today, especially with it being so windy, because I wanted to give my wrist time to quit hurting a little bit. And I normally would have my exhaust fan turned on, but since I've got the camera on, I don't want to turn it on. It makes too much racket. Or I think you'd probably hear it buzzing in the background. Takes a little while to brown it all, but it's worth it. I don't know if you can see in my pan here. I don't think you can. Maybe now you can. Problem is, people want to see who's cooking, but if I put the camera on me, I'm not showing you my food that I'm cooking very well. It's kind of hard to, in my kitchen, to get everything in camera view. So, and you could probably do this better in a deep fryer, but I just don't deep fry anymore. Not if I can cook it, fry it a different way rather than deep frying it. For one, it takes too much oil. And it would just be wasting oil to me. Because I wouldn't deep fry stuff that often. And my goal is just trying to get this brown and crispy on the outside. And then I'm going to put some more in here and brown it the same way. Plus, I don't like the fact that I got grease popping out all over me. I never did like that part of frying stuff. What I'm going to do is push that right up to the side. Start putting in some more of my beef. Be great to have a wok to do this, but I don't have one, so. And I don't really have any place to store one, so I chose not to buy one. I don't know why I put that there. I guess just to hold my fork. Because I'm not taking it out. I'm leaving it in the pan so it'll cook while part of it is browning. And a little bigger frying pan probably wouldn't have hurt. You know me, I try to clean up as I go because I don't like a big mess at the end. And I like to put a little bit of cleaner on my cutting board. It has a little bit of bleach, which sanitizes it. Also sanitizes your water, your dishwater for your other dishes. this is an option for people that are like me. That you're basically cooking for one person. And maybe you don't have a big old smoker to cook a big bunch of meat in, so this is the next best thing. Let's see what my meat's doing here. It's browning good. I thought several times about doing cooking videos. I said, well, nobody's going to want to watch my videos long enough to let me get stuff cooked. Because some of this stuff takes forever. Oh, that lemonade is good. I had to get me something to drink. Yeah, we've got warm weather now. I mean, it was hot yesterday. It was cool this morning with that wind blowing. And it's warm today, but it's not like it was yesterday. But this weekend it's going to warm up. We're supposed to get rain, I think, maybe Friday. Chance of rain some this weekend. But that's the reason I said right now, if you haven't already got your seeds out, you need to get them out. Because this is our rainy season if you're in north central Texas. And that's when I like to get my seeds in the ground. I mean, I'll still plant what I got in the greenhouse when, you know. But with all this rain we're getting, and the warmer temperature, if you get your seed in the ground, it only takes a few days for those to come up. I think just about all the seed I put out in the garden, in those grow bags, and in totes, and everything is coming up already. The only thing that didn't come up is those strawberry seed I put in them little cups. I don't know what's wrong with them. I've given up on it. I think I'm going to dump them out in something else and use the dirt. And then when I do that, I'll probably have strawberry plants coming up in my dirt. But this is one way to brown your meat and not have it splatter all over you. If you got a pan full of it, it's kind of hard for it to splatter too far. And I need my tongs for this. I mean, not my tongs, but my ladle, because I don't want to scratch up my pan. Brown it just a little bit more. Yeah, I don't know what I've done to my wrist, but it hurts. It may be a pinched nerve in my neck. I don't know. But it's hurt ever since I pulled on that lawnmower cord to get it started here a couple of weeks ago. Bet you've never seen anybody brown their meat like this. It's almost like having it in a wok, but I don't have the wok. But I mean, with that one $7 brisket, pound and a half, a pot of rice, and your sauce that I'm going to put back on it in a few minutes, that's enough to feed 5 or 6 people a meal. I mean, I'll be eating this for days if I don't freeze part of it. So that's $7 worth of meat. And what, pennies for a cup of uncooked rice. And not much for a little bit of onions and brown sugar and Worcestershire sauce. So that's an inexpensive meal right there that's going to be delicious. And you can add any type of vegetable with it that you like. Oh, smelling this is making me hungry. You think that's looking good? I think it's looking real good. Looking real good. And I've got a little bit of greens that I cooked in there the other day. I'm going to warm those up. I think that kale, I finally got around to cooking it after I gathered it. So I'm going to heat a little bit of that kale up. When I get this done, and that's what my dinner's going to be tonight. Now I'm going to turn the heat down just a tiny bit because I'm going to add this sauce to this meat, and I don't want it to splatter all over me and pop when the liquid hits. I'm going to bring that to get it really hot because I had turned the heat off the sauce. I guess I can use this. Now to cook this dish for my son, I would not be able to put those onions in there. There. And that sauce is heated up quite a bit. So what I'm going to do, get me out a little bit of rice in my plate. And you can't see that because I'm too close. But I'm going to get a little bit of this rice out. Don't that look good that's in the pan right there? I think anybody would love that on some rice. Always get that dehydrator in there. But don't that look good? Look at that. Y'all need to cook you some of this. Oh, let's say the lesson. Dear Lord, thank us for our food we're about to eat. Bless everyone watching. Amen. And I got the knife because I don't want to put one of these whole big pieces in my mouth. Y'all take the first bite. Don't that look good? That brown sugar and onions and the Worcestershire sauce. Oh my goodness. That is going to be so good. Mm. Mm-hmm. That is good, y'all. And you can do this dish with any type of beef that you can slice up in small pieces or strips. You can do it with chicken. I mean, chicken would be really good this way. Mmm. Oh, yeah. That is good, y'all. Just enough brown sugar and Worcestershire sauce to make that fantastic. Mmm. Mmm. Y'all have to forgive me. I mean, this is good and I'm hungry. Mmm. That is really, really good. Just enough ginger. It would have been better if I'd have had the fresh ginger. But like I said, when I went in the refrigerator to get my ginger out, I had it wrapped up and it had started to mold, so I wasn't going to use any of it. That's the reason I resorted to the powdered ginger. Mmm. That is so good. But I wanted to take you out here like I promised. Take a last look at that. Isn't that good? Oh my God, that is so good. Y'all fix you some of that. I'm going to take you out here and show you that the walking onions. Because they've started walking. And people say, like, onions started walking. What's wrong with you, woman? You lost your mind? Like, no. Egyptian walking onions is what they're called. And when they walk, their onions travel up the stem. Like this one right here. Well, if I can get a good shot of it. See that right there at my hand? That node on that onion top? That's where it's starting to walk. And that thing is going to get bigger and bigger right in here. And it's going to gradually come all the way up to the top of this point. And it'll burst out into like a cluster of little onions. And you leave them on there and let them dry. And there's another one right there starting to do it. Right there. And there's one back here that's doing it. See the little node on there? It'll walk all the way up to the point and burst out with little onions. And there's one down there that started. Right here. And one right there. See? And it travels all the way up. So, harvesting your onions, try not to harvest them too soon. Wait till about Easter on your walking onions. And wait and see if some of them are going to walk. Because not every single one of these green stalks will walk like that. There's only like maybe one on each plant that will do that. So you want to make sure you don't cut that off. See, there's one back there. Right here. You don't want to cut that off because, like I said, it'll come all the way up to this point and it'll burst out in a cluster of little bitty onions. And you just leave them on there till they dry. And then you can break that cluster off and plant them. And they'll produce green onions for next year for you. But see there's a great big one right back here. Well, I can't get hold of it. See there? How big that is. But that's how I got my little onion plant, the little onion cluster that I broke apart last year. And I planted them in the dish pan out there, remember? So once you get walking onions, you don't have to buy any more. But I took those little clusters and planted them out here in the dish pan. And see, there they are this year. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 onion plants from that one little cluster that I broke apart and planted the little onions in there. And like I said, they'll come up every single year. And you'll always have plenty of green onion tops to put in your dishes that you cook, as long as you let them walk. Just notice them. And if they start walking, leave them alone. Cut the green part that are not walking. And you'll have your seeds to plant for next year. See, all my seeds are coming up. That's a zucchini right there. I got 2 zucchini plants coming up. That's cucumber, and I've got cucumbers over there. And like I said, I've got to transplant some of them because I put 2 different types of cucumbers in there. And look at all the plants that's come up. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 plants. That's not one. That's a... 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 plants. Cucumber plants in there. And look at them that came up in here. And look at there. I got a potato. I got to get that potato out. I'll come out here later and get that potato out and put it in the tub over there. Let it grow in the tub with the rest of the potatoes. And I got my yellow squash coming up there. See right there? So y'all plant in the ground, put your seeds out. Or plant them in your totes and your buckets and stuff. And see, I got that one's coming up. A little one right there, I guess that's what that is. That one back there is a oak tree. But my seeds are trying to come up in here too. See, I planted more seeds and put them out here instead of the greenhouse. And I think they actually do better out here now since it's warmed up. Of course, I wouldn't have been able to put them out here, you know, if it was colder weather. But see? Flies like to get in there because of that. But look at my potatoes. If they don't produce potatoes, I'm going to be very disappointed. Very disappointed. Sure glad the wind has calmed down. The wind was terrible earlier. But getting back to our dish that I just cooked, if you have any type of beef that you can slice up, you can make a really good, almost like a Mongolian style beef. Maybe somewhat different, but that's my version of the way I like to fix my beef. If I have a little bit and don't want to go to the trouble to put it out in a smoker or put it on the grill and slow cook it forever, I just do this number. So with that, I want to wish you a blessed day. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. And I will see you on my next one. Bye now.